Welcome to the TMYK show. I am your host, Mike. This is the Mo You Know show, where we give you the truth uncut. I am better known as Mo. Today we're going to deal with immigrations and ICE. You know, we've been having issues with how they've been coming against ICE, calling ICE the Gestapo. What they're doing is illegal, warning people to really rebel against ICE. But I figure what we're going to do today, we're going to just look at this situation, look at immigrations, and just go over some basic things when it comes to immigrations and ICE. So we're going to get into this. I hope everybody's had a great day. And let's look at this and see what we can learn. Let's see if we can learn. This is where you get the truth uncut. We're going to do some reading. I'm going to do a bit of reading today. We're going to also talk about Jasmine Crockett. I came up with a name for her, Jasmine Crockett. We're going to look at her in one area, and I'll be dealing with her as long as she's in the spotlight. We will be having conversations on her as well. Alrighty, here we go. So let's look at this. Here's what it says here. Let's look at immigrations. What does the law say about immigrations? It says here, immigration laws refer to the statutes, regulations, and legal precedents that govern who can enter, reside, and become a citizen of a country. In the United States, the primary legal framework is the Immigration and Nationality Act, INA is what it's known as, which has been amended many times since 1953. So I'm assuming that it was enacted in 1953, and it has been amended, meaning revised, many times since 1952, and is codified in Title 8 of the United States Code. This establishes various pathways for legal immigrations, including family-based, employment-based, and humanitarian routes, and outlines the process for obtaining visas, permanent residency, and citizenship. So right there, we see that basically we have a department in place called the Immigration and Nationality Act. And what it does, it helps us, it frames the understanding of how you come into our country. And we do know things, because I'm going to be very general with this, and this is something you can go look up in detail for yourself. I'm just going to be general with it. So in that, you have to go to ports of entry. These are part of the rules, and you have to report to us. And the only way you can come in here earlier than trying to come in through a way of just saying, I want to come and visit the United States, you have to come to points of entry, and the other way is asylum. Asylum is where you can come into this country without going through any type of formal paperwork, no more than reporting at those entry places and letting them know that you are in danger of your life from the country in which you came from. But here's the catch to that. When it comes to asylum, you can't pass through safe nations or countries in order to get to a particular country. That's what you can't do. And a lot of people who have come here for asylum during Biden's days, they came through other safe places. And they came to our border to claim asylum. That's not how asylum works. So let's move on to the next thing. This is going to be something. Illegal immigration law. Illegal immigration law in the United States is a complex system primarily governed by the Federal Immigration and Nationality Act, all right, which we just read, right, which defines the specific acts as civil violations or criminal offenses, penalties from fines to deportation to imprisonment, and future entry bans. So it is a crime to come into our country illegally. It is a crime. See, but we have somebody who came out and said that it wasn't a crime. And they say they're a lawyer. So let's see who that is. Let's see who that is. We just read it. It's a crime. It's a criminal offense to cross our borders and not report to us. And you see the other things that are up under that. And you can go and read it for yourself, or if you go back, you can freeze it and read down. So here's that person, Miss Jasmine Crockett. Let's see what this person has said.
It is not a criminal violation to enter the country illegally. It's not a criminal. It's a crime. It's not a crime, which is why they're so frustrated, because they really want our local law enforcement to go out and round up people when they could be looking out for the murderers and the sexual abusers as well as the robbers. They want them to go and round people up on civil accusations. And so that
And if you go on to watch that, they go on to show you how she was totally ridiculed for making such a stupid statement. As such, it's a crime to enter the United States illegally, period. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. But what's her agenda? Why does she push for immigrations the way she does? Why is she pushing to have people who do not belong in our country illegally? Why is she so supportive of that? I don't know. To this day, I have some ideas. I'm not going to speculate. But guess what? She has the perfect name. Jasmine Crockett. So guess what I call her now? Jasmine full of CROCK-it. That's what her name is. Jasmine full of CROCK-it. And that's what she is. Let me tell you what full of crock is. Something that is a lie, exaggerated, or nonsense. Foolish, wrong, or untrue. False, or ridiculous. She's all of that. She's a liar, and her actions are ridiculous. Period. And she's not the only one. We're going to deal with others, but she just happened to be the one in line of fire right now today. But I've talked about others. My record is right out there for anybody to see. I've been talking about people like Steve Harvey, D.L. Hughley, Ricky Smiley, Roland Martin. I've been talking about these brothers for years because they're doing our people a disservice. Now, let's see what is the job of our ICE division. Here's what it says here. It says, an ICE job involves enforcing immigration laws and investigating cross-border crimes to protect national security and public safety. That is why it is a crime to come into this country unannounced, because you are now possibly a threat could be a threat to our national security. Miss Jasmine, that's why it's a crime. We need to know who you are before you come into our country. Period. We need to know who you are for national and public safety. Okay? The roles description varies by division, but general duties include arresting and removing undocumented immigrants, dismantling criminal, and let me stop right there. That's their job. If you are here, if you are undocumented, their job is to go get you and remove you. Period. That is their job, and that is what they are doing. But people want to call them the Gestapo. Jasmine Crockett says when she look at them, she see slave patrol. What the hell do that mean, slave patrol? When have you ever seen slave patrol? What the hell do you know about slave patrol? Except what you done read about. You don't know a damn thing, but they use these words, they use these terms. These are trigger words. These are words to get you riled up. And this is all the Democrats do. But I continue. Says, but general duties include arresting and removing undocumented immigrants, dismantling criminal networks, and investigating crimes like human trafficking, drug smuggling, and financial fraud. Beyond law enforcement, ICE also hires professionals to support roles in areas such as management, IT, and administration. And you can read and you can see some other things of their responsibility. And let me tell you this, when they're doing their job the way they are to be doing their job, you have what we call collateral damage. In other words, people can get caught up. You ever heard the saying, being in the wrong place at the wrong time? Shit happens. But the Democrats have people riled up thinking these people are doing something that is unlawful. They've even said it. I just read it to you. Their job is to go and detain undocumented immigrants. They're focused on the how can I say it? The higher security risk undocumented immigrants versus those who just crossed the border. But you're going to get caught up sometime. If you're here undocumented, you're going to get caught up sometime. Why are they not going to work? You hear all of these things, and we're going to read something that's happening in Los Angeles right now. But why do we hear these things that these people aren't going to these jobs? Their kids are not going to school, which is a disruption for our children who speaks English. Most of these children speak Spanish. That's an interruption to our education, our educational system. We have not been designed to teach in more than one language. That is not what our educational system has been designed for, to teach in multiple languages. We teach multiple languages, saying if you want to learn Spanish, if you want to learn French, I took Spanish in school. But I was not taught through Spanish language in school. It's a difference. It's a difference. So yes, people are going to get caught up. Why aren't you at your kids to school? Why aren't you going to work? If you're an illegal immigrant, if you're an undocumented immigrant, maybe you should leave. How about that? Donald Trump administration is giving you $1,000 to leave, to self-deport. And if you self-deport, you may have an opportunity to come back sometime in the future. But if we have to deport you, you would never have a chance to come back to the United States again. Period. And that is the bottom line. So why not deport yourselves? And then on those jobs that they're not showing up at, why don't you pay a living wage and hire people who are in this country, who are in this country documented and legally? That's too much like right. That's too much like right to hire people who are of this country, who has the right to be here. Come on. You all have to wake up. You all have to understand what's going on. Why are these people here? But I continue, I digress. Let me show you something here. Let me show you something here. I'm going to show you this. Check this out. Do you see these immigrants? This is what was happening. This is what was happening when the borders were open. This was March 5th of 2021. And I'm just reading at the bottom here. It says this in the bold letters. It says, migrants crossing the U.S.-Mexican border on Tuesday were photographed wearing T-shirts in support of President Biden at the San Yorcides crossing port in Tijuana, Baja California state. And the thing about it is the shirts had on there, and one apparent migrant held up a poster that read, Biden, please let us in. And as you see, they have T-shirts on, all of them, saying, Biden, let us in. This look orchestrated. This doesn't look like they just rushed to the border. They came on order. They came on direction. It was directive. You all go to the border. And guess what they did? They went around the whole world and said the United States is open to accept all. And what did they do? They accepted everybody. We've had over 20 million people come into our country. And let me tell you something. Let me teach you something on your way to learning something. That is what affected the inflation and prices going up on all of our products, on our housing, on our food, on everything that we consume. Why? Because we were not ready for that influx overnight. Supply and demand became so great to where the only way to slow down the product becoming diminished is to go up on the prices, to slow people down, and how they purchase, to give them time to restock, to give them time to keep up with the demand. That's how your groceries got high. That's how your housing got high. Was because of this influx of immigrants that we were not prepared for. But did they care? No. Biden and Kamala Harris, along with, I can't even think of his name, that punk, but the Homeland Security guy, they would say 1 minute, the borders is closed, then they would say it was open. Oops, we got a crisis here at the border. Or we need Congress to do something. I mean, we went through that for years. For the 4 years he was in office, we went back and forth with it. What happened? Donald Trump came in there, That border got closed how quick? It got closed in a New York second. And that's fast. A New York second is faster than a regular second. Y'all know that. But that's what happened. But what happened to to Congress needing to do something? What happened to it? It's a crisis. What happened to, oh, but the border is closed. Oh, it was all, they were full of shit. It was all bullshit that they were selling you. And because they were in charge, there wasn't nothing we could do about it. Then you had dum-dums out there that believed it. Whatever they told them, they just believed it. This is just some crazy, crazy stuff that we've been dealing with. We've been dealing with some crazy, crazy stuff, dealing with these damn Democrats and the shit that they have been doing for years. For years. Since slavery. And they've been fucking over black people since slavery. They still fucking over you today and you don't even know it. You don't even realize it. They still fucking over black people. I thought I'd show you something. We ain't done. We ain't done. I looked over here and I said, wow. Just looked at some things on immigrations. And here's what this says about immigrations. And I'm going to show you something. It really pisses me the fuck off. Period. When I look at this stuff. Here what it says. Determining the total amount. Because the question now is, how much money have they spent on these illegal immigrants since they've been here? It says, determining the total amount of money spent on immigration across all levels of the United States government. On immigration across. And see, they don't like that. And they do this stuff slick. They're talking about undocumented workers. But on immigration. Because should no money be spent on just immigration? People should be coming here legally, and both people that come here legally, they got their own money. So what money should immigration have to spend? Most people that come into this country legally come here able to take care of themselves. Period. So this can't be just talking about immigration itself. It says all levels of U.S. government, federal, state, and local, over the last 5 years is complex, as this data is not aggregated in a single official figure and varies widely based on reporting methodologies and the scope of activities included, right? Here's what it says here. However, the annual federal spending on immigration enforcement and border security alone is substantial, which that's a part of it too. Why? Because they have to get these people out of here. But we're talking about the last 5 years, right? And they had a different issue during Biden's time. They were being used to house these people. They were being used to facilitate, to make sure these people are comfortable and not returning them to their homes. You must understand that. It says, with the figures around 34 to 37 billion annually before a recent significant funding increase in mid-2025. Yes, it had to be increased because now we're trying to get them out of here. That's why it had to be increased as far as law enforcement. It had to be increased because now we have to send men and women out here to find these, especially these criminal. When I say criminal, I mean these heinous individuals who go out there and do all types of acts against our citizens. We have to understand that. says the total cost when accounting for state and local expenditures, social services, and other indirect costs are estimated to be much higher, with some reports citing an annual gross cost is over $182 billion annually. That's per year on illegal immigration. Wow. That's what they're spending on them. That's what they are spending on illegal immigrants coming into our country. I don't get it. And nothing for the people that are here that are suffering. Nothing of the people that are here that are suffering. Check this out. Check this out. I want you to look at this. I want you to look at what is going on. I'm from Los Angeles. It's my home all my life. I used to be on Skid Row every day because they're in the toy district, and I just sell toys. They sell water guns. The super soakers, when they were hot on the market. I used to sell them on street corners along with other things. You sell hats, t-shirts, sports hats, sports t-shirts. Whatever was going, I sold it. And I was downtown on Skid Row every day. Let me let you see some stuff on Skid Row. Let's look at this. But they done brought all these immigrants in here, and ain't nobody saying a damn thing. A damn thing. Let's look.
Downtown Los Angeles.
This Skid Row.
One of the richest cities on earth.
This Skid Row.
What's it like living on the streets here?
It feels like a failure. I failed hard in some areas of my life.
We came for a day to find out what it's like to live here, who lives here, and why Skid Row even exists. The origin, a train station. When the Transcontinental Railroad reached LA in the 1870s, this was the end of the line. This place has been like this for over 100 years. And
Right.
Kevin Cole used to be homeless here, stuck around to help.
Every mayor that come in, Garcetti, all of them saying, oh, we're going to fix it. We're going to work on it. They start off trying to fix it, but something is wrong. If you can put a man on the moon, you can clean these streets up.
Come on. This Skid Row.
Arrive before sunrise, we'll stay until sunset. Paul Reed, an activist and volunteer, is our guide.
This is
midnight mission.
so what? It's like 6:30 in the morning,
Yeah.
and this is where you can
Yeah,
get
this
breakfast.
is they start feeding at 6:30.
Skid Row's waking up. A few tents, blankets, makeshift pillows, the occasional stained mattress, a square of cardboard, a styrofoam box used as a bed. Soon, the power washers move in. It's now like 8:30 in the morning.
Oh,
What's your plan for the day?
Pretty much I read, I keep books.
Have you heard Steve Harvey talk about it? Have you heard Roland Martin talk about it? Have you heard D.L. Hughley talk about it? Ricky Smiley, have they talked about this? Hell to the no. They don't give a fuck about their own people. They don't give a fuck about us. They only worried about their motherfucking selves and what they got for themselves. And I apologize. I ain't apologizing. Because some people want to say what I'm saying. I'm just bold enough to say it. This is shit, man. This country, what these fucking Democrats are doing to blacks in America. And America as a whole.
Books. I have a puzzle book. I like to do puzzles. Sometimes I go to the library. Sometimes I get on the bus and I ride out and I think.
How are you? Good morning.
Looks like she's got a little store going.
Yeah, she does. She has a store here. She sells drinks to everyone here.
I remember you.
Yeah,
Where did I see you?
it was at the police staging for the riots here.
That's right. That's right.
Since we last met, Howard had to move into a shelter.
I've been here 2 weeks. First time ever being homeless, first time being evicted.
How is it in here?
It is great.
It's great.
It's really, really good.
Is there like a pathway for you to get back into like a permanent house?
Oh, that's what they do here. They told me 3 to 6 months.
You live on this street?
Yes.
How long have you been here?
I've been here about 22, 23 years.
23 years?
Yeah.
Are you trying to get a permanent house?
Yeah, I'm trying to get a permanent house. The vouchers don't look that good because might not be no funds behind it, you know, you never know.
Billions of dollars are earmarked to fight homelessness in Los Angeles, but a recent audit found insufficient financial accountability led to an inability to trace substantial funds in an annual budget of roughly
Stealing.
$1.3 billion.
What do you
Stealing.
do for money? To buy food and stuff?
Okay, I recycle. You see all the cans and stuff.
Okay.
The federal judge even considered taking control of the homelessness budget away from officials. Ricky won't move into a shelter.
I don't like being around all those people. I wouldn't want to be in an area with some of the people that's in there because a lot of them are mental.
What do you think should happen? I mean, these people need somewhere to live, right?
No, they need to fucking get them off the drugs.
But we're told by several people that there's a non-profit giving out free crack pipes.
I can understand the needles, but they're giving away the stuff to keep the people getting high.
I almost feel you'd have to be taking drugs or drinking alcohol to live here.
You know,
How do you clean up something by basically giving them what they need to stay high? How can you be complicit in that? Instead of getting the centers, the drug centers, the rehab centers, the mental health centers to help these people. Please make it make sense. But you can open up the borders and bring in all these people and take those billions of dollars that can go toward this and our country and give it to foreigners? Please, as you said, Miss Jasmine, full of crock, wake me the fuck up. Please, wake me the fuck up.
Wait, I mean, I know
yeah,
that
well,
sounds weird.
you know, and people that are honest with me, when we get into their story, I ask them, so when did you start using? And some of them, that's why they came down here. But there's a large percentage that said, Paul, I never did drugs. I never stole anything until I got down here. I do things to kill the pain or to try to survive.
Much of LA's homelessness is concentrated here. Officials say the numbers are falling.
They had a homeless count not long ago, and they said the numbers was going down. We don't believe that the numbers is going down.
According to a recent independent count, the numbers sleeping out on the streets fell significantly in two other hotspots last year, Hollywood and Venice, but climbed here on Skid Row.
So many.
So they just moved. They just moved them. And they're telling you that it went down, but they just moved them. And it has moved out from downtown into the surrounding neighborhoods that surround downtown Los Angeles, Skid Row area. It has expanded out to those areas. It is now within the communities, which is bad enough. It's in the business district. And they're literally doing nothing about it. It's sad. And you got these assholes out here with a fucking microphone and won't say a fucking thing about it. But they say they love their people. No, they don't. No, they fucking don't. Period. They blowing smoke up your ass. They pissing on you and telling you that it's raining. It's just that simple. And it's sickening. It's got to be talked about. It's got to be dealt with. This government has to be dealt with. And all of those who are complicit, who are supporting this bullshit. People like Jasmine, Roland Martin, Steve Harvey, D.L. Hughley, all of y'all are supporting this bullshit. Period. But it's going to be told, and you will be exposed. You will be exposed. Check this out. Check this out. Whoa, Lord, check this out. Just to show you what they doing, how they care about they black people. This dumbass black mayor, she shouldn't have never been. And let me say this on that. I guarantee you, if they go around and start auditing these elections, they're going to find out they've been cheating like a motherfucker. Karen Bass should have never been elected mayor of Los Angeles, period. A lot of these other positions, and just for you all's information, that we just had here a couple of weeks ago, with those elections with the mayors and governors and stuff, you all didn't have no success being Democrats. They were blue states. If we had won, it would have been an upset. So stop acting like you had such a great party. You were supposed to win. Those are the bluest states that are on the planet. There is no way a Republican was supposed to win in most of those states. And I believe when a Republican do win in a state like that, there in Georgia, stuff like that, I believe that when a Republican wins, especially like Minnesota, I'm sorry, where what's the name that was? I'm sorry, I can't think of the state right now where her name's Sears, the black woman Sears ran. But if she had won that state, and they had a Republican governor before, but you realize that a lot of these governors, they're in on it, they're rhinos. These Democrats are rhinos. They're really in with the Democrats. Do we understand that? But let's look at this. Let's see what Miss Karen Bass is doing for the immigrants. Karen Bass announced a plan in July of 2025 to provide direct cash assistance to immigrants. Guess what? Let's read it. To immigrants in the city who have lost income and are afraid to leave their homes due to increased federal immigration enforcement. Wait a minute. Why are you scared if you're a citizen and you're supposed to be able to be here? So that tells you right there, are you scared to leave your home? I don't know a legal person in the United States, let alone Los Angeles, California, who is scared to leave their home if they are legal. I don't know one. And I bet you nobody else knows one. And if you do know one, they're a fool if they're believing this bullshit that they're putting down, being Karen Bass and New Scum. This punk ass. Here it is, he's trying to copy Trump on everything now. Just stupid. Like nobody see his punk ass, his dumb ass. You know, just stupid. So anyway, let's go on and just read more. It says, the key details to the initiative are purpose, to help individuals and families regardless of legal status who are facing financial hardship such as potential eviction because they are too scared to go to work or leave their homes due to fear of detention and deportation. Wait a minute. Why would you be scared of detention and deportation if you're a legal citizen. Oh, you want them to think anybody? But guess what? We can play on that. All you have to do is go down and say, I'm scared, being a black man. Because you done told them, hey, you got people like Jasmine that just said, full of crock, just said that they look like a slave patrol. You had Tim Walsh of Minnesota, governor of Minnesota, say they look like the Gestapo. So what? You need to be taking your ass down there, black man, and saying, you need to write me a check too. Because I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm scared that they gonna do something to me. Ain't that what you telling me? So I'm in the house. I can't go to work. I can't even go look for a job because I'm scared they're gonna do something to me. You should be able to get a check too. Then let's go to the next one. Funding sources. Check this out. The money for the cash assistance come from private philanthropic partners, not Los Angeles City taxpayer funds. Mayor Bass specifically mentioned this to address concerns about the city's budget deficit. And I bet you it's a lie, because here's what I found out about these people. Here's what they are. Here's who they are. It says the philanthropic of a person or organization seeking to promote the welfare of others, especially by donating money to good causes, generous and benevolent. Wait a minute. So what we just saw on Skid Row don't mean shit to y'all. Wow. So that don't mean nothing. But y'all come together for the illegal immigrants. But you can't come together to help the homelessness? Oh, because it's mostly black folks? Come on, people. Make it make sense. Is that it? Who's the racist people? If you have those type of sources available for this situation, you don't have it, Karen Bass, for the homelessness in Los Angeles. But you can put money together to help people who are here illegally, because they're the only ones that should be worried about ICE, not legal citizens. Legal citizens should not be worried about detention or deportation, period. Period. And I'm going to just stop right there. I'm going to stop right there on that, because this is ridiculous. I got one more to show you. One more thing to show you. Because this stuff is just crazy. Let me tell you something. When you bring in, they say now that these, like I said earlier, you bring these illegal immigrants in here, they work for less than minimum wage in some cases, or they work just for minimum wage, like here in Texas. Here in Texas, minimum wage is $7.25 an hour. You can't live in Texas on $7.25 an hour. But for them, if they come here and work for $7.25 an hour, they're doing pretty good. They're making more money than what they're making in their homeland, and then they know how to hustle too here. So they make a lot more money here in the United States than in America. Here's what it says about their pay, and it drives our wages down. I met a couple who owns a donut. They're Asian. They own a donut shop here in Texas. The lady she was having to pay $12, $13 an hour to keep help at her place. When she realized that we had this influx of illegal immigrants here, I went in there, I was patronizing them regular. And I stopped because I stopped going there so much. I'm on a diet now that doesn't allow me to eat throughout the day. I'm on what they call intermediate fasting. So anyway, one of the last times I was by there, she told me, she says, I can't pay that anymore. Now I can pay a person as much as $8.25. That's the most I'll pay. $1 more than minimum wage, but nowhere near what they would need to really sustain themselves here in Texas. Why? Because she knows that these people will work for much less than the American citizen. And that's what they're doing now. They're taking advantage of them, but what does it do? It hurts us and our ability to go out there and make money. Why? Because they will not pay us the same amount and get the work done. And newsflash, let me say this to you. There's nothing that they're doing that we won't do. Nothing that Americans won't do that immigrants are doing. We just want to get paid a living wage. One place black people ain't don't want to go back to, but we don't know nothing about it. I ain't never been out there in no fields. But guess what? I got cousins. We had farms when we grew up in the country. I grew up in the city. I grew up in California. I got people that grew up in Louisiana. Our people had farms. They had livestock. They picked corn. They had crops. They grew everything. They grew and raised everything that we consumed. So yes, they were in the fields, but they were working for themselves. And will some people go back to the fields? Yeah, if you pay them right. You pay them enough money, they'll go back. But we'll let the immigrants have that one. But that's the only one that they're doing that nobody wants to do. That's the only one. Don't nobody mind going in there and doing janitorial work. You know, doing warehouse work. We just want to get paid. That's all. We just want to get paid. You went to the agencies. When you went to the agencies, it knocked down the pay. But those agencies, for every person that they hire, you know the agencies make something in the ballpark of $20+ an hour for that same person, but they may only pay you minimum wage. But they're making anywhere from $15 to $20 an hour, depending on where you're at. Depending on where you're at. That's how it goes. But that's what this country has done. This country has sold out its citizens. This government has committed treason against its citizens. That's what it's done. Here we go. So I went and looked up Mexico's wages. I said, how much do the foreign wage? It says wages in Mexico vary significantly. With the general minimum wage for 2025 is set at $278.80. These are pesos, I believe, which is approximately, and this is per day, approximately $13.76. What? What? Wait a minute. While the minimum wage for the northern border zone is higher at $419.88, I believe these are pesos per day, which is approximately $20.72. What? What? Come on, people. Per day? The national average annual salary is estimated to be around the national. That's ours. That's ours. $23,000. That's the average. But this differ based on profession and region. Ours is only $23,000 a year. But when you look at that, and you can go look this up, So when they come here and they're only making $13, $20 a day? A day? Man, they happy as a lark to come here and work for $7.25 an hour. An hour. But what does it do for Americans? It causes the wages to plummet to where we only making $23,000 a year, which is nothing. Which is nothing. That's not even $2,000 a month. Period. Your average rent is $1,000. We ain't talked about groceries. We ain't talked about paying other bills. That's just your rent. Make it make sense, people. But the bottom line to the whole thing is this. ICE is doing their job. They are doing what we have implemented as a country. Their focus is to make sure that people who are in this country are legal. Period. Let me show you this. This is just some of them. This is just a few of, we got thousands that are in our country who fit this description. Some of these descriptions. Let's look at it. This first brother, Aguilar, whatever his name is. Anyway, first one at the top. It says that he is wanted for murder. The second one, going across. He is wanted for aggravated kidnapping, bisexual abuse, aggravated sexual assault, smuggling of person. Next person, assault, sexual assault of a child. Next person, aggravated sexual assault of a child, continuous abuse, sexual abuse of a child, victim under 14, online solicitation of a minor under the age of 14. I mean, you just go read, failure to comply with the sexual offender registration requirement. Down at the bottom, sexual assault on a child, sexual assault on a child. And this last one that you can see is indecent exposure to minors times two times, probation violation, origin offense, assault causes bodily harm. But these are the people that they're looking for. These are the people that ICE is looking for. And there's others that will be caught up if they are here illegally. It's just that simple. So you catch one of these and you got one that's here illegal, but they don't have no real criminal record. You both say, oh, you going about your business? No, all their asses got to go. All of them. Like I said before, if you walked here, we'll give your ass a ride back. That's your due process. That's it, that's all. If you're here illegally, we'll get your ass right back home. That's it. All we got to do is prove it. All you got to do is show us how long does that take to show us that you're a citizen. You're not going to use our system to detain your ass and prolong your ass staying here. Why should we do that? Who's going to take care of you in the meanwhile? Why should we put that burden on the taxpayers? Oh, maybe the philanthropic. Maybe they paying for it. But I need to look into that, see what that's about. And if that's the case, still, why aren't you down there on Skid Row? Why aren't you down there helping them? But as I said, ICE is doing their job. And you all are going to make it worse. They will never, ever, ever stop. That's like telling a police officer, don't come in my neighborhood no more. They not going to come in your neighborhood no more? Because the people at large is going to be saying, hell to the no. We don't know what the fuck he talking about or she talking about, but y'all better be up in here protecting us. You're here to protect and serve. That's what ICE is for, to protect and serve. No, they are not. If you all would cooperate with them, then they would be doing things maybe a little bit better. And I don't think that they're doing it bad like Trump said. I don't think they're doing enough. Because I wish they bust some of y'all in your fucking mouths, really. Because what y'all doing is totally ludicrous. Period. But that's just me and my opinion. You know. Because what you're doing is terrible. It is terrible. And people should not have to tolerate this type of actions coming from others when all they're doing is their job. What they've been hired to do, and we as a nation have put them in that position to do it. And I agree with that. I agree with that part of government. Period. If you enjoy this video, I really would appreciate it if you like, subscribe, and share. Until next time, be good to one another and love one another. Peace.